Hi, this is Timothy Zahn, author of Thrawn, and you're listening to Star Wars Reactions. Good for you.
There's been an awakening. Have you felt it?
In 1977, George Lucas formed a legacy.
The Force is with me, and I am with the Force.
Inspired by mythology, his saga has become a passion for many.
Feel the Force around you.
His legend has become our story.
It's true. All of it.
One of resistance,
We are the spark that'll light the fire that'll burn the First Order down.
rebellion,
Rebellion is built on hope.
and redemption.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
This is Star Wars Reactions.
Remember, the Force will be with you. Always.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Star Wars Reactions. We are back, and we're so happy you are joining us for our 125th episode. That's 5 quarters. So we are wrapping up our 5th quarter, if you could say that. But episode 125, we're going to have a blast. So let's bring in all the players and see what we got going on today. My name is Aaron Harris, and joining me is the Thrawn to my Rook, the David Modders. David, brother, what's up?
What's up? Hey, man, we're up and we're ready to rock. We're ready to record and we're ready to react. And looking forward to doing it here with this episode.
Oh, yes. Me too. I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be fun. We are going to be looking at the first 3 episodes of the 2nd season of Star Wars Visions tonight. It's going to be a great episode. And to just give you an overview of what we're doing, because you're like, only 3? There's 9 episodes of Visions. What are you doing? Simple. We're breaking it into 3 episodes. I'm going to give you a little preview of what's coming. Okay. This week, this episode, 125, episode 1, 2, and 3 of season 2 of Visions. Next week, episode 126 will be episodes 4, 5, and 6 of Visions. We're going to take a break the following week for episode 127, as we are going to be recording a special anniversary episode celebrating Return of the Jedi and its 40th anniversary. I know something. I reached out to David and tossed out, and he was all for it, and I'm excited to do this. You're even going to get a special release date. Normally our episodes release on Friday. This episode, 127, will release on Thursday, the 25th, which is actually the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi. That will be the day it would have released 40 years ago. And I figured it would just be appropriate and fun to do that. Then after that, 128, we'll go back to Visions and wrap it up with episodes 7, 8, and 9 of Visions season 2. But yeah, it's going to be great. A lot of great stuff. And we want to, and the reason we're letting you know, normally we don't tell y'all in advance of the stuff we're planning, but I wanted to do it this time because for 127, for this Return of the Jedi special, we wanted to put out a call to all of our listeners. If you're listening to the show, we wanted to put out a call out to you because we want you all to participate in this episode. Let us know what you think of Return of the Jedi, what Return of the Jedi means to you. I know some of y'all, it's your favorite. Some of y'all, it's your second favorite. Some of y'all have favorite scenes. We want to hear from you and hear what is going on in your thoughts about Return of the Jedi on its 40th anniversary. And you can do that many ways. You can either send us a direct message on any of our social medias, whether it's Facebook or Twitter at SW Reactions Pod. You can send us a message on Pinterest, Instagram, or even Tumblr at SW Reactions. Or you can email us your thoughts at swreactions@gmail.com. Also, if you are wanting, you can also record a brief MP3 recording telling us your thoughts on Return of the Jedi. Email it to us there at swreactions@gmail.com, and we will use that and incorporate that in the episode as well. That way, you're not hearing just our voices, you're hearing the voices of all the listeners as well, sharing their love and thoughts about Return of the Jedi. So if that's for you, please hit us up. We would love to hear from you. We would love to incorporate all of y'all into our Return of the Jedi anniversary special that's coming up. So you want to do that quickly, though. Like I said, that's episode 127. So we would need those MP3s, or if you're sending us your thoughts or MP3s, we need those no later than, I just lost my calendar. Wow. There's my calendar. I had it pulled up and it went to sleep on me. We need those no later than May 22nd. That will be the cutoff. May 22nd. We need to have everything sent in to us so we can get the special recorded and going for you. So,
nice.
Yeah, it's going to be great. What do you think, David?
I think it's awesome, man. I'm excited. That'll be 40 years to the day that I saw it on opening night, May 25th, 1983. 14 years old, buddy. 14 at the time. So I'm really glad we're doing it, and we're doing it on the day, that May 25th. That's really cool.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be great. I'm so excited. It's gonna be great. I won't tell you how old I was, but it's just say I was young enough I don't remember. Yeah. But it's going to be great, and we hope, and we really hope to hear from all of y'all as part of the show as well, to make it a special one. So, David, I understand you got some news too for something that's coming up.
Yeah, I wanted to wait till closer to the time because, life's been crazy. You never know when something's going to happen or go down. But I did want to share that I will be going on the Galactic Starcruiser, the Halcyon, in June. The 12th, 13th, and 14th, 3-day cruise with Dan Zier and the Coffee with Kenobi family. I told Aaron that I just want to do it. I want to see what this is all about, enjoy the heck out of it, try to document as much as I can with technology, and just have a lot of fun on this voyage. At least do it once in my lifetime. So I just wanted people to know that. I'll try to, like I said, document stuff and send stuff out, and we'll see what other kinds of excitement's in store. Hopefully I don't get captured by Kylo Ren and you never hear from me again. So we'll try to avoid that. So yeah, so that's coming up. I'm excited and looking forward to just having some fun with Dan. I know Mary Purdue is going to be on the cruise and some other CWK family members. So just wanted to share that with our listeners, and we'll keep them up to date as the whole thing progresses. Sound good?
That sounds like a blast. I'm so excited for you, David, that you're getting to go on this trip. You're going to have a blast. I wish I was able to go with y'all, because it is something I'd like to do eventually, but just not possible this time around. But dude, I hope you have a blast. Now, and if any of y'all listening are going on the Starcruiser trip as well, as part of the Coffee with Kenobi group that David's going with, reach out to David, let him know, meet up with him, and have a good time. That way he knows you're going to be there. It's going to be a blast. Y'all have fun. And trust me, once it's over and David's back, we will do a special recap, and David can tell us all about his experiences on the Halcyon there at the Galactic Starcruiser Resort. So
That's right. We'll do it. We'll do it.
perfect. It's going to be good. Well, with that, that kind of wraps up everything we have news-wise and everything. So let's go ahead and jump into our discussion for the week, which, of course, is Season 2 of Star Wars Visions. Like I mentioned earlier, we are looking at the first 3 episodes, and we're going to start off with what is Episode 1 of Star Wars Visions Season 2. This episode was entitled Sith. Of course, released on Star Wars Day, May 4th, 2023, written by Rodrigo Blas, directed by Rodrigo Blas, and of course, created and animated by Studio El Guiri. I hope I said that correct. So, synopsis for Sith is a former Sith apprentice, Lola, and her awesome droid, E2, find their peaceful life threatened by her former Sith master. So let's jump into this. David, thoughts on this episode?
Yeah, what I try to do in the synopsis is take what they have on Disney Plus and add to it. So I put in awesome droid E2. I really get a kick out of him. I mean, from the very start of this episode, the animation is gorgeous. I love it. I don't know that I've ever seen anything like this, animation wise. All the different types of animation types. This was gorgeous. I really, really enjoyed it. I love this main character. I love the whole discussion about light and dark. And then we can get into a few other talking points and stuff like that. But I love the battle at the end. We can talk about that, et cetera, et cetera. I love her little transport there, a la Grievous, right? The first one. And so, and I love this Sith Master. Oh my gosh. And his 2 henchmen. So again, I could keep talking and talking and talking. What about you? What do you think about this one?
So, I have a history with Visions, and y'all, if you've listened for a while, y'all know when season 1 came out, I wasn't a big fan. I watched it, but that was about it. I never went back, and I haven't rewatched it since. It just wasn't my cup of tea. But I got to say, May 4th rolled around. My plans to go to Galaxy's Edge fell through, so I didn't go like I wanted to. So I actually was home, and I actually went ahead and watched all 9 episodes of Visions. And I got to say, I actually enjoyed this season definitely more than I enjoyed the last season. This particular episode, Sith, was just incredible. You said it best, David. I've never seen anything animated like this. The way, the animation style, the coloring, everything was just. You had the bright, vibrant colors of the characters, offset, especially there at the beginning, offset by just like that matte white sketch drawing of the ship she was in. I mean, it was mind-boggling to see just the fantastic animation in the episode, and I really enjoyed this Sith. It was so much goodness. So let's jump into these talking points real quick that you walked in, and I think we both addressed our first talking point, which is the animation is just simply gorgeous. I mean, really, honestly, and I know you haven't watched them all, David, really the animation in all 9 episodes is just incredible.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the unique things about Visions is that we get such unique points of view and unique animation styles from all these studios. And this episode, Sith, is definitely representative of that. Rodrigo Blas and El Guri did a fantastic job animating this original story. And I like the fact that they tackled, we've seen throughout the books and in the stories, in the movies, we've seen Jedi fall to the Sith. Well, this one, we have a Sith leaving the Sith for a peaceful life, which I thoroughly enjoyed the role reversal in this, in the story. And it really kind of, and I like how you put it in the show notes. Lola said it several times that she's no Sith. She's not a Sith, which really kind of mirrored the whole Ahsoka theme from Rebels, is I'm no Jedi, and made it a unique character. This is actually, I'll be perfectly honest, out of all the episodes of Visions I watched, and I watched all 9, this is a one I'd like to see a continuation of the story. I want to know what happens to Lola.
Yeah, piggybacking off what you said, I'm sitting there watching it. Watched it for a second time last night, and doing notes and knowing that you and I are going to talk about it today. And I'm looking at this going, I could do a whole hour and a half movie of this. And so that would entail, like you said, where do they go next? When they blast off in that beautiful ship. I'd like to see E2 in action more when he blows that one guy's head off.
Oh my gosh.
I did not expect that. That was awesome. And like you were saying, like with this animation, I want to see it for an hour and a half. I just looking at the metal on E2, I'm like, how do they do that? And even when he taps the little thing and the little bubble comes down and then she can drink her stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm like, how do they do this? Like I said, I know I'm reiterating how gorgeous the animation is, but yes, I would love to see this story continue. I love this character, Lola. And I have noticed, like I have watched the first 5. I've got 4 more to go, but I've watched all 5 twice. Picking up so much stuff. I'm noticing, the homages, little things here and there in each of these, 5 episodes. Of course, we're going to cover the first 3 tonight, but this one is very much an homage to Ahsoka and I'm no Jedi. So I thought that was really cool. The other thing I was just going to jump into, if it's okay with you, buddy.
Go right ahead, buddy.
Was this, towards the end when Lola says, she talks about the light and the darkness are both inside her. And it's interesting because for years, and I'm very upset with myself, I've been wanting to listen to or read Viktor Frankl's classic book, Man's Search for Meaning. Well, I did start it. I got it last week, and I got the book, but I'm also, by the way, on Audible, it is available. You don't have to buy it. And so I like listening to the person read it as I'm following along and making notes in the book. And you really see Viktor Frankl. He's a psychiatrist, by the way, who was in Vienna, Austria, when Nazi Germany took over, and he was in several different concentration camps, most famously in Auschwitz. And he talks about life in a concentration camp, and it ties in perfectly to this episode because Viktor Frankl ends. There's been several editions of the book, Man's Search for Meaning, but the original manuscript ended with his quote about reminding us that what we've learned about men and women. And Viktor Frankl says they not only are the ones who created the gas chambers in Auschwitz, they're also the persons who stood with their heads up, saying the Lord's Prayer as they entered those gas chambers. Of course, I remember reading it for the first time and just being in tears. But that dichotomy, you see, again, Viktor Frankl wrote Man's Search for Meaning in 9 days. So he did it in 1945 after he got out of the concentration camps. By the way, just side note, lost his wife, lost his mother and father, lost his brother. I believe only his sister survived as well. Just staggering. But that when I was watching this, I got the book on the 3rd. Watching these episodes, you watched them all on the 4th. I watched them on the 5th, the first 3, and just immediately thought about Viktor Frankl talking about humans, and when you see Lola say that in the show. So I very much wanted to bring that up, this balance of light and dark. So just fit perfectly with what I'm reading, and I would highly recommend to anybody to read Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning.
Oh no, absolutely. I'll have to check it out too. But you're right though. This episode does portray a perfect balance of light and dark. Because we have her in the light, and we see this throughout, especially during the fight at the end with the Sith Lord just standing in the darkness, and she's standing and the screen is split white and dark at one point during the fight. It is just visually incredible, and you almost when you go into the dark with the screen goes full dark for the Sith Lord, you really, it honestly makes you feel the dark, which is incredible. Yeah. It's one thing, to get the feels from a story, but to literally just feel the when the Sith Lord's on the screen and everything's black, you feel the weight of the darkness almost right there. It's almost scary, in a matter of speaking. But yeah, I really enjoyed Sith. Yeah, I got to say, probably out of all of them, this is probably my favorite.
And it's the first one. They came out of the gates.
It's the first one.
Yeah, they came out of the gates all full power. Yep.
Oh, they definitely did. So no doubt about that. Well, we got 2 more episodes to discuss. And if judging by the way this one went, we got a lot to say. So what I'm going to do and what we're going to do is take a brief break. And when we come back, we will continue talking about season 2 of Star Wars Visions. Stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Aaron and David here. We are talking about season 2 of Star Wars Visions. We just finished talking about episode 1, Sith, and we are moving into the second episode of season 2. This episode is called Screecher's Reach. This was released, of course, May 4th, Star Wars Day, 2023, written by Will Collins and Jason Tamamagi. Sounds like Tamagotchi, and that's what I'm going to end up calling him at some point during this episode. I'm sorry, dude. If you're listening, Jason, my bad. Sorry. But this was directed by Paul Young and animated by Studio Cartoon Salon.
Cartoon Saloon.
Saloon, sorry, not Salon. Saloon.
Yep.
See, I'm already Carabast. Anyway, this episode, a young girl, Doll, out on an adventure with her friends, Bathon, Quinn, and Kina, discover a legendary cave with a dark pool. So, thoughts on the episode. Let's get our thoughts. I'll go first. Good episode. Not one of my favorites, to be honest. It had a good story. It was a very dark episode. To me, it was very dark. It was the screeching witch. It was hard to tell what the story. I had a hard time just gathering why we had a screeching witch in a cave. And I really, and the ending with, was she joining the Jedi? Was she joining the Sith? Yeah, I was a little confused on that. But beautifully animated, spectacular animation, but a lot darker than some of the other episodes. What were your thoughts on Screecher Reach?
Yeah, yeah. I enjoyed this one as well. I think, like you said, not as much as Sith, but I enjoyed it. Um, this Sith Mother at the end, I meant to, in fact, look up when I mentioned Sith Mother, look up the medallion that's around Dahl's neck. And I meant to go back. I just didn't have time to see if that was an actual, it lights up red, obviously, when that Sith Mother speaks to her. But I that was an interesting twist to me, that she's lured to the dark side, whereas Luke was not in his cave experience, right? She is, and she it's a different experience, different cave experience, but not that Luke wasn't, enticed by the dark side and dealt with some of that, but she ends up obviously leaving with that Sith Mother. That's the name of that character, Sith Mother, from the credits. And I don't know. It's weird. I think the reason I was in tears kind of with the music, but also I felt bad for Dahl because I was like, wow, she wanted a better life. And, people do, but she didn't know who was luring her into that. It's kind of like the lure of, hey, drugs will make you feel better. Hey, alcohol will make you feel better. Oh my gosh. And then you're in it,
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I thought that was an interesting twist there at the end. So yeah, pretty cool stuff.
Well, I mean, and I like how you brought that up because it got me thinking too, about how you said she was just searching for a better life, and it really reflects a lot of what's going on in the world today. There's so many people around the world, here in the U.S., around the world, overseas, and the in other countries around the world, where they just want a better life, and they'll do anything for a better life, and we see people coming along and taking advantage of that, whether it be through human trafficking and stuff like that, and I can't help but almost see this as a reflection of that societal issue today that we're dealing with, because here we have this child working in a factory who just wants to get away and make a better life for herself, and ends up falling in with a Sith Lord, a Sith Mother.
Yeah.
And it's a very dark story, and honestly probably has, out of all the stories told, probably has the most to do reflecting today's society than any of the others.
Yeah, you put into words and went right off of what I was saying, like, her wanting this better life, and you said it so well that I think that really struck me is just like you said, how much it's really reflecting real life right now. Kids do want something better, but where do you go to find that? You hopefully have safe, reliable people around you, but there are predators. And clearly when the Sith Mother comes out, man, what a predator, and yeah, very much so.
Yeah. And obviously the Sith Mother was preying on her through the necklace, which again, just another symbol of predators using technology. In real life world, it'd be social media, and stuff like that, and items like that to recruit and influence young minds. That it's sickening that happens in real life, but it does, and it is a problem, and it's not a road I wanted to go down for this discussion, but it's kind of hard not to with this episode, because it whether they meant to or not, and I'd really would love to hear talk to Paul Young and Will Collins and Jason Tamaga. See, I told you I was going to do it. Carabast. Jason T. Really would like to talk with them to pick their brains to see if this was even in their minds, or was this just something that came about without them even realizing that they were giving this type of this type of literally essay on what's going on in the world.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I need to go back and watch Amy Ratcliffe interview these creatives, which she did at Star Wars Celebration. I did watch it. And it's been a while. She talked to the creators of all 9. I'm trying to keep them straight in my head. Yeah, I mean, she didn't get a lot of time with each one. She only had a certain amount of time to ask them about some of the creative vision. But yeah, it would be interesting to hear them, or you and I be able to ask them more questions.
Yeah, especially especially with now that the episodes are out. I know when Amy, and I love Amy. Amy is phenomenal.
Yeah,
I love Amy. She's awesome. But when she got to interview them during Celebration, nobody had seen the episodes yet. We were still a month away from the episodes being released, so there was no.
True.
There was nothing there.
True.
So it was a Dave Filoni interview. Yeah, well, maybe.
Yeah, they can't share a whole lot. Yeah.
So yeah, it was it gave some good insight, but now that we've seen the episode, I'd really love to pick their brains. And just get their thoughts on this, because it was very. It like I said, even though it wasn't my favorite, it was still a very powerful episode.
That's what I was going to say. It's not my favorite, but it's powerful. Yes.
Very powerful. And it gets you thinking, which is always awesome for any type of story. If it gets you thinking, you're doing good. But right. It also gets you, it also makes you think. It gets you thinking, but of course it gets you. If it gets you thinking, it makes you think, obviously. But it makes you think beyond the wall, the walls of the saga, and look at what's going on in the world around you. And I think that is why I liked it, and I think that's why the music carried so much weight in the episode, and it really. Like John Williams did in the movies, like the Kiners did in the animation, it really tells the story on its own as well. And it just really added to the depth of Screecher's Reach.
It really did. That's why I felt like the music, it just very, it's there, it's low, it's sad. And just seeing Doll turn around as she's on the ship, and you're like, oh man, and her friends really can't do anything to help her there because of how powerful this Sith mother is, and that ship is just ridiculously cool looking. So what do you do? Just sad, but gets you thinking, and as you said, it gets you thinking, it gets you emotional, and I found myself sad for her. And so if it gets you to think, gets you to be a little bit sad, moves you a bit, and that's a good story. And it was really well done.
Yes, definitely was. All right, well, let's move on to the final episode here, which of course was In the Stars. That's the third episode of season 2, the last one we're covering in this episode here. Of course, also released May 4th of 2023, written by Gabriel Osario, Antonia Herrera, and Francisco Ortega, and directed by Gabriel Osario. And the studio who made this episode was Punk Robot. Punk Robot. In the Stars is about 2 sisters, Tichna and Kotan, who are the last of their kind. and they fight for survival while when Imperial forces discover they're still there.
Yeah.
So I'll let you kick off of this episode, David. What were your thoughts on In the Stars?
Now, I do remember Amy talking to Gabriel Osario. You're really good at the Spanish names, I'm telling you. So just because you lived overseas in a Spanish-speaking country, you can really knock them out a lot better, and you can trill those R's. But I thought it was really neat because he was talking about some of the inspiration for this particular animated short was due to colonialism. And I thought the way that this episode begins with the younger sister, Tachina, right? Khoten's the older one. Tachina is showing you the story by blowing paint, onto those rock formations, and it's so beautiful to show again. Yes, the Empire coming in, but yes, kind of what I'm trying to remember his home country. I think it's, is it Peru? It's in South America. I got to double check. Again, I need to go back and watch Amy's interview. Amy, get Aaron and I on. Let's follow up with all these creatives. Aaron and I have more questions. Let's get this organized. Okay. So it was really neat, and he was really passionate. And I just love this combination of the animation and the special effects, kind of like how the flowers withered, the stars in the sky, just incredible. And when they're telling the story through the paint and the moving paint, Tachina says, "Mom became a star. Everybody did." And I just start to lose it, start to tear up. And because we know what happened as the Empire came in and laid waste to everybody in the planet. And again, that's a common theme throughout all the Star Wars storytelling, is the Empire coming in and taking resources and killing the people there. So that set the stage for me, as well as you see Khoten, she's trying to protect her younger sister, and she's doing it through like hiding or even rejecting the Force, like a number of the Jedi did in hiding after Order 66. In that little brief story at the beginning, when you see Tachina, you can tell their mom is Force sensitive, right? Going against stormtroopers, etc. But she and the others of the planet get overwhelmed and ultimately loses her life. But I love the setup, and I could feel it coming. I'm like, wait, are these girls going to use the Force and ultimately, beat the Empire here? And it's really neat how it plays out. What are your thoughts?
This was I enjoyed this episode, honestly. There was a lot of it was a very emotional episode, which you said perfectly, because we're dealing with the Empire coming out and basically committing genocide of these people, which is not the first time we've heard of that happening. And then we got these two children who are left. And to me, honestly, the first place I went after I watched this, and I was thinking about the episode, the first place I went was back to Resistance.
Yep.
The children of Tehar.
Yep.
And where the First Order didn't just commit genocide, they literally destroyed their planet. And it ends up being connected to Starkiller Base and the building and construction of Starkiller Base. So, and you got these two kids who are left. So to me, it kind of mirrors that to a certain extent. I love the fact that we have the older sister who is who's just trying to keep them safe and keep them alive without taking any risks at all. She doesn't want to risk her sister. She doesn't want anything to happen to her. She has taken on the motherly role and is really scared, to be honest. As Dave, I think you and I can relate as parents. We get scared for our kids at times, knowing what they could be facing. And I saw some of that fear that I have thinking about my kids in Tachina.
Yes.
And it really made her relatable. But then again, at the same point, I saw the reckless abandonment of pure just optimism and pure positivity and hope in the little one. And she is just, I mean, it opens with her just standing in the middle of the field as a TIE fighter's bearing down on her, and she's got her hand up trying to, force choke it. I mean,
That's great.
like, no fear. You think of these, kids, toddlers, they have no fear. They're climbing on the back of couches and jumping, these kids, you get toddlers, they just have no fear whatsoever. Let's jump on the dog and ride them like a horse. It's just what toddlers do. They have no fear. So as a parent, you're constantly running after one. Don't.
Yeah. And
I could see that relationship of those two sisters that was tweaked because of the loss of their mother. And I think and I loved how that went. I like the fact that we had an ATST in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was pretty cool. And and them taking down that ATST kind of reminded me of Ezra and Rebels. See?
Yeah. Well, I think that was a twist for me, right? When T'China and Kotan are holding hands and putting their hands up, the twist for me was, oh my gosh, they're gonna crush in the ATST.
Mm-hmm.
But no, they're pulling the water down and it knocks it down and everything else. And I thought, oh, that was cool. That was a good little twist for me. I didn't, right? I thought they were gonna like either push over the ATST or crush it in like the Ewoks did with their hands, but it wasn't, and I liked that little twist.
Absolutely, and that's why, and you put the scene side by side, Ezra with against his ATSTs and the girls with theirs, and you see two different reactions. Ezra tapped into the dark side, took control of the driver, and made them eliminate the other Imperials before walking itself off a cliff.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas these girls didn't attack them. They brought down the water, which the planet needed, which the Imperials had stolen. They dumped the water out. It washes the Imperials away and causes a rebirth of the planet.
Yeah.
A decision, and again, contrasting light, dark. And it was beautiful.
Well, and I think going back to something you mentioned, I think for me it was, T'China's belief, the young girl, the belief in the Force, that they had the strength to do this, this, kind of disregard for, safety and all that. I go back to what we were talking about with Lola in the first one, Sith, and that balance between light and dark. In this one, I think about the balance needed between Kotan, the safety, not being reckless, but also having that belief, that hope that T'China has. And when you put them together and it's balanced, that's when they beat the Empire, not one or the other, not fully hiding, not fully losing it. So I thought, again, all three of these, this issue of balance. What else was I going to say? I love the Imperial leader there. She was a real baddie.
Were those all snow troopers?
A few of them were, right? Yes.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. These just look cool.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Even though there was no snow.
Right, exactly. It seems like a little bit more of a tropical planet, maybe, especially when the water's released. Yeah. And I would say this, that I like what you said in terms of when the water's released, restoring the planet, when the clouds clear and you can see the mother's star reappear, and then two more. I thought of a number of things. One, I thought about all three of them, T'China, Kotan, and their mother. But I also thought about the Trinity, in the sky. And of course, like I said in our show notes for the previous one, I'm not crying, you're crying. Well, I'm really not crying, you're crying. And so to see that at the end, I was just like, oh man, so happy for both of them. And really, because they know they can feel their mother up there, and they want to be, closer to her. And so I loved how they set it up at the beginning, and then at the end where you see, all of their people in the stars. It's just beautiful. Yeah, beautiful.
Oh, it truly was. It truly was beautiful. And it was such an awesome episode. And definitely a good one. And all three of these were fabulous episodes. And I think it was actually a great way to kick off our coverage of Star Wars Visions Season 2 with these three episodes, which just happened to be the first three, because there's some tremendous storytelling in these episodes.
Oh, they're outstanding. These first three are, like you said, I think they're just not a good start, but a great start to this season.
Absolutely. So, well, anything else about the episodes you want to hit on before we wrap everything up?
No, I thought we really hit it. And these were just, man, this is enjoyable to cover. This is fun.
Yeah, like I said, I definitely have enjoyed this season more than last season. I'll 100% guarantee you that it's 100% guaranteed. I enjoyed season 2, and these are episodes I'll go back and watch. Which, like I said, I haven't watched season 1 since we reviewed it, but these I will actually go back and watch, because there's just so much packed into these little episodes. Each time you watch it, you see something new.
You do, and I'm glad you're enjoying them. I am. That's fun.
Yeah, it is. I was, after not enjoying the first season, I was hesitant with that. I'm not gonna lie, I was hesitant with this season. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch them, we'll review them, I'll be done with them. I honestly did not have any my expectations were low. I mean, lower than low. They weren't even on the chart on the expectation list. They just were non-existent. And so, believe it, I was pleasantly surprised with how much I enjoyed this season. So I am looking forward to our next episode. So as we review the rest of the season. So, well, we want to hear from you and hear what you thought of the first 3 episodes of Star Wars Vision Season 2, or Volume 2, I should say. I've been saying Season 2, but it's Volume 2. Let us know what you think. Like I said, you can always, as we mentioned earlier in the show, you can hit us up on Twitter or Facebook at SW Reactions Pod, Instagram, Pinterest, or Tumblr, where you'll find our show notes at SW Reactions. Or, of course, you can email us any time of day, swreactions@gmail.com. Let us know what you think of Visions, and definitely make sure you're sending in your thoughts for Return of the Jedi, so we can get those compiled and together, and we can really celebrate the final season, or no, excuse me, not final season, the 40th anniversary of the bat. Good Lord. Carabast. All right, I'm done. Hold on. Grabbing my Carabast hat and put it on. That's 4 I've had already. I need to go ahead and put my dunce hat on. Lord help me. Celebrate the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi. So definitely do that. David, if somebody wants to talk Star Wars with you, how would they go about doing that, my friend?
Absolutely. 2 different ways. Real simple. One is Twitter. That is at David_Modders, MODDERS. There's an S at the end. And the other one is through Instagram. And that's just simply looking up my name, David Modders.
Very good. Very good. And of course, you can always hit me up on Twitter. That's always the best place to find me, at TA Harris 121079. Now, because we're doing a bunch of short episodes, we have no psychology corner this week. But David, we're still ending the show the same way we always do, my friend.
Oh.
That's right, folks. It is time for this week's Star Wars Dad Joke of the Week.
Our listeners are so lucky.
They are blessed beyond average.
That's right.
So, are you ready, David?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Which Star Wars character has a relative who retired to Florida?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. Which Star Wars character has a relative who retired to Florida?
Calrissian.
Oh.
General Calrissian did.
Oh.
His cousin, Orlando Calrissian, retired to Florida.
Oh, I should have known. That's so bad. Oh.
Oh, Lord help us.
You know what I can see right now is the shirts they made up for Star Wars Celebration. Was it 6? Was it in 2012? Welcome to Orlando. Or was it Celebration 5? It was 5 or 6. It was 2010, 2012 in Orlando. And I just remember those shirts. So it's Orlando.
Orlando. Yes.
Wow.
It's definitely the cool side of the state.
That's right.
Yes. What have we here? Anyway. Oh, David, my friend, I've had a blast.
Oh, me too, buddy. Good times.
Good times, good times. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Y'all are the best. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thank y'all so much for just being who y'all are and hanging with us week after week. Y'all are the best. We love y'all. We're praying for y'all. Remember, do something nice for somebody this week. Make May the best month ever just by changing people's lives every day you can, every chance you can get. So remember, this is your place for elegant discussion for a more civilized age.
If you'd like to share your thoughts, you can email us at show@starwarsreactions.com for our show notes and the latest news from the Star Wars universe. Visit our website at www.starwarsreactions.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at SWReactionsPod or on Facebook at Star Wars Reactions. If you enjoy our show, please leave a review on iTunes. This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or by Lucasfilm Limited. It's intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars. All names, sounds, and any other Star Wars related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Disney and the respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Star Wars Reactions unless otherwise indicated. Star Wars Reactions. Elegant discussion for a more civilized age.